Hey cool kids, for today's video I have my review of the Sakura watercolor pocket field sketchbox. I bought this off of Amazon for about $30 Canadian, and for the price I'm pretty pleased with the quality of what I got. It's meant for travel, so it's fairly compact, but it comes with everything you need to paint on the go, including an attachable palette, a water brush, and those little sponge things, which I'm sure have some artistic use, and of course paint. It comes with a versatile selection of paint, all with beautifully vibrant colors. I did notice my paint is cracking in the palette, and I'm not quite sure why. Like, it could just be the low quality of the paint, or it's very likely I could just be doing something wrong, but I don't know. If you guys have any answer, feel free to let me know. I've heard some other artists complain that the water brush is hard to use, but I personally like it. The water inside the brush makes it very easy to clean, which means I can avoid dirty paint water, and I found this nib itself nice and fun to work with. Here you can see the swatch I did in the back of one of my sketchbooks, plus my first little painting test to test out the colors, which is a work of art, I know. Now, I don't know if you can see it in the video, but the colors do look very grainy on the paper, and this concerned me because I read some reviews that said their paint was grainy and splotchy, but I've also tried out mixed media paper and watercolor paper, and it looks fine, so I think it's just the paper. I'm going to be doing a little demonstration while I talk about the paint some more. I'll also be using some Crayola watercolor pencils for some of the detail in the painting because I'm not really competent enough in the paint yet to do fine details with the paints themselves. And I am painting on Canson cold press 100-pound watercolor paper, and let me just tell you, this paper is so good, like, so good. I also used some cheap paper tape I bought at the Dollarama a while ago to tape it down, and normally it works great. But I decided to tape this piece to a box to protect my workstation, and the box and the painting were around the same size, so the paper tape was struggling to hold the painting down, so that's a bit of an oversight on my part. If you couldn't tell already, I really like these paints. I found them very easy to mix. As you can see in the beginning, I mixed together a couple of colors to get the particular skin tone I was looking for. So I started with the Jaune Brilliant, that peachy color at the top, which I think is a great base color if you're looking for a pinkish skin tone, but it's way too vibrant, so I lightened it up with some white and some lemon yellow, and then threw in just a little bit of cerulean blue to desaturate it, and it all worked out fine. I don't know what it's like with watercolors, but I know with acrylics, if you try to mix student or craft quality paints, they'll come out muddy, but I didn't have that problem with any of the colors I mixed in this set. I found it very easy to get the color I was looking for while keeping the pigmentation. Now, confession time, I am very much a novice at watercolors. Back in my high school art classes, we never really used watercolor because, like, it's so much cheaper to just buy a big jug of acrylic paint and tell students to go wild than it is to buy everyone, like, little watercolor palettes. And even in the one class where we did have watercolors, I basically just avoided them like the plague. I think because I was having war flashbacks of primary school where I tried to paint a flower, but then it wouldn't work out and all the colors would blend together, and it was just so awful. Despite all that, I was looking for something to spend my Christmas money on, and when I saw these, I decided I'd give watercolors another try because I've seen so many artists I love produce amazing work with watercolors, and I'm glad I did. If any other artists out there are looking to try watercolors to see if they like them but aren't willing to drop big bucks on a fancy set, I'd recommend these. Like I said, they're easy to use, plus the set comes with everything you need to start painting outside of the paper. All that said, if you're planning on making art to hang or sell, I'd skip these. They're not artist quality, and while I haven't had time to test light fastness myself, I've heard from several other artists that the colors in the set fade pretty severely. Still, these serve my purpose perfectly. I think if I get to the point where I'm more confident in painting and I want to start making pieces to sell, I'll upgrade my paints and buy nicer quality paints, but until then, I'm happy to use these to practice and just make silly little paintings. On a side note, I'm painting Yuri Plysetsky from Yuri on Ice. I'd originally planned to do a more complicated digital piece with him this week before I got my watercolors, like maybe something with him and Odebek involved, because I'm just so happy Yuri managed to make a friend. It just warms my heart. But anyway, I do love Yuri. I found that I'm just a sucker for any bratty blonde-haired boy in any anime. Like, it's gotten to the point where I'll see any character with that specific, like, dumb blonde bowl cut, and I'll just instantly know they're gonna be my fave. I genuinely enjoyed Yuri on Ice, although when I was first introduced to it, it was from a Dan Is Not on Fire stream, and he just said it was a vaguely homoerotic anime called Yuri on Ice, so I figured it was an ice skating Yuri. But then when I went to watch it, there weren't any girls, and I was so disappointed. Whatever, but it's still a really good anime. I really enjoyed the way it explored love and the different types of love. Like, there's the love you feel for your friends, the love you feel for your family, the love you feel for your art, be that ice skating or whatever, the love Yuri and Victor felt. I just felt like it explored the topic well, and it was all just really beautifully done. Plus the ice skating. Like, I honestly love ice skating. I've been ice skating since I was 2, and I actually wanted to become a figure skater when I was younger. Like, I'd always do sneaky tricks on the ice whenever I was skating. But lessons are super expensive, and my parents weren't convinced I was athletic enough to be worth it, so they kinda crushed my dreams. Like, come on, I could be romantically proposing to my coach in Barcelona right now, but you know, whatever. I'll be honest with you guys, I do really want to draw Yuri more in the future because he's really pretty, but I'm not a fan of this piece. I think my first mistake was that I didn't do the outlines dark enough when I was transferring the sketch to the watercolor paper, so I couldn't really see them, and so the entire painting turned out a little wonky because of that. Originally, I was gonna wait until I was sure I could make something good with watercolors before I made a YouTube video, but I think it's important to show the start of my journey. Hopefully in a year's time I can look back on this piece and see all the ways I improved and maybe redo this piece to show my progress. Or maybe I'll be sick of watercolors by then, or YouTube will be obsolete, or we'll all be dead, or on fire, or in a nuclear fallout, who knows? But anyways, in the meantime, I do want to keep practicing. And feel free to tell me in the comments all the ways I'm using watercolors wrong, or at least tell me how to stop my paint from cracking. I genuinely do want to know. Also, thank you so much for watching, and hope to see you next time. Bye!